Hello and welcome back. This is Kristen from the Online Selling Show, and I'm here today to give you my update of how I'm creating an eBay business that's going to bring me a six-figure income when my husband and I do a partial retirement in 2 to 3 years. And I'm looking to do this part-time, but having a six-figure income. My goal is selling 15 items a day and having a net profit of $20 per item on average. And that means that after all my fees are taken out, the purchase price taken out, I'm left with $20. So I bring to the table with this 22 years of online selling experience. Currently, we have a wholesale business model where we sell between eBay and Amazon. And I've been in that wholesale business model for the last 12 to 15 years. Since 2017, it has been our family's sole source of income. And it's just a lot. I don't want to continue with that in a retirement sense because it's a lot of time. It's very product heavy. We don't have opportunities to take any time off and travel together. It's very difficult. It's just a lot of moving parts. So I'm looking to get back to my roots, which was using yard sales and thrift stores and estate sales to get me the items I can resell on the eBay marketplace. So this is my journey. I'm using my YouTube channel right now to give me a vlog so I can see where the growth is and give me that documentation. But I'm hoping you're going to find some value in it to also either enhance the business you currently have or maybe find that you want to get started on this as well. So I welcome for you to come along. So what happened this week? Today is August 30th. I'm sorry, August 31st. Where did August go? So it is Labor Day weekend here. I live in the southern New Jersey region, and I've mentioned before that it is very, very much heavily tourist type of situation. I live near the Jersey Shore in southern New Jersey, and whether I go east, north, or south right now this weekend, it is going to be tons and tons of traffic. The going west would take me more towards Philadelphia. That's where a lot of these people are coming from to come to the Jersey Shore. So there's still a lot of traffic. So I bring all this up because that has to be a consideration when I was putting into thought what I wanted to get done and do this current weekend, because today is Saturday. So to bring you up to speed from last week to this week, the gentleman that had the estate sale I was able to pre-shop 2 weekends ago, I can't believe it's been that long. He got back from his cruise, him and his wife, and we had been in contact. And I knew he had the one estate sale, and it's generally in the area that I will go and shop at. But when I looked at the stuff he had already posted online about that one, there wasn't a whole lot I was really interested in. There was one decorative, sculptural piece, but my thought on that was it's going to take a long time to turn that over. So I wasn't overly, unless he had more things that wasn't in the photos, I wasn't really interested in that. And we talked and he did confirm that there really wasn't a lot more. So I kind of wrote that one off. He did mention he had a second estate sale that he had not posted up yet. And he was going to have it up by Wednesday evening, I believe it was, Tuesday evening. He sent me some pictures of what he thought I would be interested in. And they really weren't anything. It just wasn't anything. I've told him I like kid and baby toys. He sent me some stuff and it just was nothing that I would have really been interested in. And so I told myself, well, I'll wait and see what else all the other pictures are that you put up. And when I saw that, there was 2 or 3 items that were of interest to me. But when I realized how long it was going to take me to get there, it was an hour and a half if I didn't hit any traffic. And that's an hour and a half one way and back. And like I said, there was maybe 3 things. And I thought, it's not worth it in dollars and cents. It just was not. So I thanked him. I'll have to keep an eye out for him for next week. The yard sales for this weekend were very few and far between. There was only one that I had seen up until last night. And that was one that was like a professional yard saler. If you're not familiar with that, they're it's like the junk that, I don't know, they just keep putting out there week after week. It was just, I've seen it before and it just was not anything I had any interest in. So I kind of already wrote off going out to go sourcing this weekend. Because the other thing when I realized when I looked at next weekend is going to be insane. I already know that there is 2 estate sales in the one town that I really want to get to. And then there's a third one. Those 2 are going like east for me. The other one is going west. So the total opposite directions. And that particular one, I tried to find, it looks like it is, I think it's like a paraprofessional to this person. This person's Facebook profile, from what I could see, like had them doing social work and things with homeless people. And this house seems to be somebody that had probably been in it for a many years. And probably, my guess is, passed on or gone into some kind of nursing home or something at this point. And when I tried to get in there early, she mentioned she's not even going to be at the property again until the day that she's doing the sale. And I tend to believe what she's saying. So that's next week's situation to figure out. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I did spend some time this week. I took back stuff to Bath & Body Works and to Home Goods. I mentioned I tried to start doing a little bit of retail arbitrage, getting my toe back in the water of that. And the Bath & Body Works stuff, I'm going to tell you, I bought this Halloween-themed stuff not even a month ago, and when I went into this store yesterday, they had like no Halloween. I'm going to tell you, it was insane. I could not believe how fast that they turned that store over, and most people haven't even decorated for Halloween yet. Like I said, it's not even September 1st yet, and I mean, we're in like 90 degree, what is today? Today says it's 77 right now, but I'm going to tell you, the humidity and everything else, nobody's thinking about Halloween. They were into a whole display of Stranger Things and fall now. I was really surprised. So that tells me I don't know that business model, and I don't have time to devote. Our personal business right now, the wholesale one, the pallets are rolling in regularly now, and I've had to go get a second storage container to house the overflow, and I don't have the time to devote to learn it. And at this point, I had maybe another 4 or 5 days I could have kept that stuff, but I was like, it's just, I don't have time to monitor the calendar of like when this stuff can go back without, having to get a store credit. So I thought, this is just going back. The Home Goods was the same thing. That I bought based on the style of it, because being what I do see in January what the whole release for the next coming year is. And I knew like the pink pumpkins and the pink skulls were going to be something for the Halloween again this year. The gingerbread, you're going to see a lot of the pink gingerbread with the brown gingerbread houses out this season, a lot of nutcrackers. So I know what the styles are that are coming, and I tried to buy some stuff, but again, it's been 90 some degrees out. Nobody's doing anything with Halloween yet. So I took those back. Another thing that kind of happened for me that's hopefully going to be another flow of sourcing was, there was the gentleman that I purchased something from about a month ago, for me personally, was telling me at the time that he does storage unit cleanouts, and he had some Rudolph stuff, and he asked would I have any interest, and I said, oh, definitely. And I'm going to tell you, if it's a vintage Rudolph, that is highly sought after. I know that. And I don't know if it's for them not surviving through all the years, or there just wasn't a lot of it, but I was definitely interested in what he had for Rudolph. And he got back to me, and he hadn't been in contact with me for this past month, and I was like trying to figure out a way to approach contacting him again without being a problem. That's part of this balance you got to take, that you need to solve problems but not become a problem. So it was kind of like, how am I going to do this? And thankfully he just reached out to me, and he said, hey, I still have those Rudolph. I'm going to the storage container today. Are you interested? And I said, definitely. And we had discussed when I was there last month that if he had anything like kids, toys, anything Christmas. He made mention he had like a bag of women's North Face coats. I was like, I'm definitely interested in clothes. So I was making it a point to reiterate those things as well. And then there was nothing. Like, it was days. There was no photos, no contact. And I thought, I don't want to reach out again and still become a problem, but I don't want him to think I'm ignoring him. So I sent him a message. I just said, hey, I'm letting you know that if you had sent those pictures, I hadn't gotten them. I don't want to have you think I'm ignoring you. He got back to me and he's like, no. He's like, it's my fault. And I thought, well, I know how life happens. I mean, maybe he got there, he couldn't find them, he got distracted and forgot. I mean, whatever. I realized. So I told him, I said, I have plenty to list. I just want you to know when you're ready to send the stuff, I'm available, to let you know. And he said, oh, I have this carpal tunnel surgery. And I'm thinking, oh, take your time, because I've been there. I've done that with surgery. You don't have to rush if that's, I don't want you feeling this pressure from me. And he said, no. He said, I'm wanting to get this done. He said, I'm going to send this to you. I said, okay, well, whenever you send it, I'll let you know. He sent this beautiful wreath picture. And it was it was just beautiful. Very finely detailed. It was basically a wreath in bisque with 5 or 6 scenes around it, like you would do like in a Christmas village scenes of stuff, but they were all in this wreath. And I couldn't find any sales rates or comps or anything. There was one listed and none had ever sold. And he said, I have that, and then he sent me a picture of cherished teddies, which they've just flooded the market, those things, and some mice. You haven't watched my other videos. Mice seem to be following me. This is now like the 3rd thing of some kind of mice. And I looked them up, and they weren't anything. And then he sent some like food storage containers, not like Tupperware, but these were like the Gladware that you dispose of. And he's like, that if you're having any interest, and I'm thinking, how do I tell him I don't really have? I don't want to cut that off. I want this to be, me solving problems, but I don't need the storage containers. I don't want the mice because they weren't like anything, and I didn't want the cherished teddies, and I really don't know what I wanted to do with that wreath. And I was in the middle of having a conversation with a friend, and they were like, oh my God, I would love to have that. And I thought, okay, good. So at least I'm taking one of these pieces. When he then said to me, oh, I have a few more, hold on. And he sent me 3 more pictures, and these were actual houses. That is like some Hawthorne Heritage or something that releases the Rudolph village scene. And he said, one of them's broke. He said, so I'll give you the 3. And I was like, oh. And when I looked at them, they were beautiful. And I said, definitely. So I said, this was good. So I didn't have to like have him send me stuff, and then I'm like, no, I don't want anything, because how many times are they going to offer you stuff and you keep saying no? Really? So I was like, okay, this is good. So I met with him. I got the 3 pieces last night, and reiterated again. Interested in the clothes, everything that I'm interested in. I did hear a little bit more about his story and the fact that like he has his storage unit, and that was the stuff that he was buying at auctions for people at the storage unit places. And he's been trying to go through his stuff that he's borrowed, when the owner of the place has now been basically using him as like 1-800-GOT-JUNK kind of thing, when they've had units that like nobody bids on, or they bid on it and they never paid type of stuff. So it's stuff that they would have had to clean out and throw out that they're giving to him. So that's why I'm finding now that like he wasn't as responsive and on top of sending the pictures like he was, because he's been getting these other opportunities given to him. So I reiterated again, keep me in mind. So he's already got a couple other things in mind. So hopefully I'll hear back from him. So we got a lot of irons in the fire for this coming week. So the rest of my weekend needs to be getting my inventory. I told I'm going to be doing a special segment on that, how I'm going to be getting my inventory reined in. I've got to get the stuff out of there that was my personal stuff from around the house that just I knew I probably wasn't going to sell it. Got to get that out of there. Got to get ready for Q4, because I'm telling you, I got a lot of Q4 kind of stuff. So I'll be back with a holiday wrap up. That I'm finding, I'm just going to just do it as I was pulling it to sell. But truthfully, my husband and I, we believe in the faster you get it out, the less problems you have. And some of this stuff, like seriously, like I don't have a lot of time because the mail person's coming, my mail ladies and stuff coming. So I just wasn't stopping to get videos. And I think I'm going to have to find a way to just make the flip buys, go through the flip buys and bring up some of the better pieces and things that I feel are of interest for what you'd like to see. So I'll be back with the week wrap up. See you in a minute.
Hello, welcome back. This is Kristen, and I'm here for my wrap up for the August 26th to September 1st week of sales here on eBay. I got quite a mix. I had 28 sales in this week, and I've been averaging about 3 listings a day. What I'm doing is I'm going in about 2 days out of the week and getting all of my listings that I can get done and scheduled in that time period, and it usually is about enough to get me through a week to 10 days. So if you look at the numbers, I'm really selling more than I'm actually getting listed. So I do need to work on that in the next couple of weeks to try to get listed. I have a mixed array of things that came in. Most of the stuff that I'm not going to cover is the things like this Stampin' Up! Paper that I told you that I sell that comes through. It's a hobby for me, and it's really just bread and butter. And I'm not necessarily always doing it for the biggest money maker. So if I take those and I'll have store stock, I'm going to just skip over. These are the items I told you that come out of the wholesale business. And I really don't believe you're going to find at any of these estate sales and stuff. In all of my 20 some years, I've never seen it show up in a thrift store or any of that stuff. So I just didn't feel it was a value to go into that. One of the items I did want to bring up was a lower item, but this is an item I pieced out. I had bought some stuff at a estate sale where I was able to go in and pre-shop that sale. That was a few weeks back, and I was able to get a Weeble Wobble set, and it was a Mickey Mouse Playhouse, and they had duplications of some of this stuff. So I pulled it out and I listed these 6 by themselves. I apologize in advance, my throat. I'm trying to get through this quickly, and I hope my throat does not give out. You may hear me sipping on some tea because my throat is just, it's ready to give out. I'm going to give you in this first one where to look at, where to get the data if you want more fine detailed on that. I'm going to just in the ones after this give you what is over here is how many days, and it says it over here is how many days it took for the item to sell. Purchase date is basically just the date that I put the price in for this item. It says I bought this at an estate sale, and my purchase price on this was $1. The item over here shows at the top that it was $14.99 for the item and $5.95 for the shipping. eBay collected a total of $20.94. The fixed value fee of 40 cents, from what I can read and what I've looked at, this is what I thought it was, which is basically a per transaction charge for them to do the collection of funds. Way back when we used to have PayPal that would charge their own fees, and this has been a much reduced charge than what we used to pay. So this is what I've been able to figure out for that. The $2.82 is a final value fee, which is generally the commission that we pay to eBay. Most of the time it tends to be 15%, but you can look at their calculator to determine your store subscription does affect that category you're listed in. So there are some things that can affect that, but on average, it's like 15% of the collected amount, which was the $20.94. There is the net return of $12.29. So this is where where I will say for you is that I purchased this for $1 and I was able to turn it into $12.29 because this is saying to me that after I take out all of my fees plus the purchase cost, I'm left with $12.29. That's what's important to me, is that I was able to take $1 and grow it into $12 and change. Here's some things that you may be interested in. I just tend to look at after fees and look at the value of how much it kind of comes out to be the same. The ROI is 1,229%, and the net profit margin is 59%. So I said sometimes you have to just stop and think about, can you break pieces out and make some extra money for yourself. Then we're going to get into, I have quite a few pieces from this. This was the 2 boxes I bought at that moving sale where I thought I was getting a bunch of stuff that were mice and cheese related. And when I got through the boxes, I wound up actually finding out there was a lot more of these cat figures than there were of the mice and cheese. And I actually was surprised that these were actually more desirable in their sell-through and their pricing than the mice and cheese. So this particular one, I got $19.99 for, and I wound up taking the sellable lots or the listings and basically dividing it into the $10 purchase cost. This thing really came out to 26 cents. This took 20 days to sell. I've sold quite a bit of, I've probably sold anywhere from a dozen to 15 items out of these two boxes now. I have more than made the money back. I mean, this has just been like the gift that keeps on giving. It's amazing. I was left with $17.25. So my 26 cents came back with 17 more dollars. I thought that was phenomenal. And these aren't like it's one person buying all these. What I can tell you is that that was a person bought that individual one. This item was styled after like the Wedgwood China. There was a buyer that bought this one at $21.99. At after all the fees came in at $21.11. Cost of ship was $2. I am splitting that up with one that is higher up the list. So when you see the fees and stuff on the one that's higher up, it's going to be because of the way I had to break down the shipping costs, and they did have to get a refund because of the excess shipping fees and what I had quoted them before. I just could not get them to cooperate with the way that they invoice through eBay. It's not anything overly exciting. I'm starting to try to give offers and just solicit to get these clothing that this is something I started in the beginning, was going to thrift stores and trying to learn the clothing when I kind of was trying to fight, which is my natural talent. And as you can see here, I took $18 for this. I paid $8.49 for it. Here in New Jersey, we do not pay sales tax on clothes. So that is correct. For that was what I paid for the actual item at my Goodwill. So you can see they are high on the cost of what they price stuff at here. And after everything was said and done, it was left with $9.75. I basically doubled my money. I mean, it's not too bad, but I'm not really wanting to, I want to move some stuff that, starting to get a little antsy with some of this clothing. And like I said, I just don't feel it's my natural. I'm not giving up on it yet, but I feel like I may just want to, go a little more heavy on the other stuff. Here's another item I know nothing about. Video games. These were, I believe, like this was a $1 purchase at a yard sale. I got this when Vicky and myself went to the yard sales in Lancaster. There was like 95 of them. Took about a month to sell. Did get $23.69 for it. I was running a sale in my store over the holiday weekend, so they took advantage of that. I got a really good return for it, but like I said, this is just not my forte. Some of the other items I sold was this. This was one of the actual items that was sitting on top that made me stop and really pay attention to the boxes. This is a covered like cheese butter dish type of thing. Here's another one I took advantage of $23.69. This still has the 26 cents for the purchase cost. And this is probably one of the more expensive pieces that I was able to pull out of those boxes that were for the mice and cheese style-wise pieces. So that left me with $22.48. Again, not bad. 26 cents and got 22 back. Pretty good. Like I said, it just keeps on giving. Here's another one that somebody purchased. This is another person bought this one. It's after like stylized after that Irish China company called Belique, and they paid full price of $29.99. I got $25.66 back for my 26-cent purchase. Again, not bad. It just keeps giving and giving, and I still, after all this, have probably 20 some of these left. Skipping over that. Okay, the top 5 now. This was an item that I bought from that estate sale where I was able to go in a couple episodes back. I talk about the shopping and being able to shop before the sale days before. They had a lot of toys, vintage toys and such. This was an item, it was brand new in the box. I don't think it had even been used ever. It was an original Tupperware toys. I guess this is the precursor to what we've seen from Little Tykes and all that. This was probably from like, I think it was 1979. I got my full asking price of $34.99 for this. I put down a value of $2.50. It took 10 days to sell this, and I got a net return back of $28.99. So, you're talking, I was able to 10 times my money. Phenomenal. This sale is what it's going to keep giving to. The number 4 item is this. It's a flat wreath. It's a little odd, I'm sure, for most people to look at. It is made out of an MDF board, and I've sold similar ones from other brands, and obviously they were new. This one I got at a thrift store, and I paid $4.52 for it. Took 2 months to sell. I was expecting that we were getting to that period where it was going to be selling. I usually get between 50 and 60 for the new ones. I wasn't really too willing to give in. This is not something that is currently being offered by the Primitives by Kathy company. And this was a bigger one, 21 inches, I have in my title. So this buyer was back and forth with me with offers. I wound up, as I do a little short here on YouTube talking about negotiating, and I don't like to do in round numbers. She finally took this offer of $35.16. The shipping cost was a lot more than I was charged. I charged her quite a bit more than that was the actual, because I wasn't sure packaging wise until we actually packed it how it was going to be. And at this point, like I said, we had been back and forth with negotiating because this was originally listed for $49.99, and we agreed this. So I knew she was considering the shipping costs and what she was going to be willing to pay for me. So I thought I was just handling my negotiations with everything as one unit and not trying to break this out. That's why I didn't get back the excess shipping. Number 3 spot is the other item that I told you was going to be part of the other purchase that was down below. This was supposed to be stylized after a Limoges piece, I believe. And she bought this one on an offer through the weekend sale that I offered of $53.87. You can see there's something over here where I did refund back her because we had discussed the shipping ahead of time, but I could not get eBay because of the offers being in there to let me adjust shipping and such. So I had to just do it as a refund back. And after all was said and done, they're claiming that there was a $43.40 net return. But again, they're also taking into effect all of the amount that was collected and not counting in the monies that was my refund that went back. So they're counting in that $6, and I think there was some other. Just like I said, I do believe I got more money out of it, but still with $43.66. This has a 26-cent purchase cost. Still not complaining, even if it was just that. So that is what the cats did in that sale. This is another item I got in the same sale, and I know it's going to look kind of creepy. This is made by the Joe Spencer Company. It is a brand that is a subsidiary that was offered out of one I've done business with in my wholesale business. And I've just debated about getting these dolls in under that business. And I felt this was a great opportunity to see what the interest in them were and that type of stuff. This was offered at the same sale as where I got the mice and the cats. And I paid, I believe, $5 is what I attributed on this. Yeah, it was $5. She is quite large. She's she's 39 inches long. That would be counting the legs and all that stuff. And I believe the face features and all are hand painted on there. But I originally saw that there were ones that had sold closer to Christmas last year for close to like $130. I listed mine at the $129.99, but I did take an offer of $80. To me, I just wanted to be able to turn this over, get it in, and get it out. I did have a net return of $64.51. So to me, that's not bad. For $5 to turn into almost 65, I would take those deals every day of the week, and it was 14 days to sell. So that is the second best of the week. And the number one comes out of that sale that I was able to pre-shop. Again, this was an item that I kind of found in an armoire kind of piece that was in the bedroom. It really kind of surprised me because it was, I guess, a collaboration between Burger King and Disney for the different movies. And I was surprised at how much interest there really were in these pieces. It took 8 days to sell, and it had just happened that somebody was starting to message me. They had quite a bit of questions, and they wanted more pictures. I had actually brought these out of my basement from where my shelving and storage is to get the pictures for the people when I happened to notice that somebody came in and bought them at full price of the $129.99. So these were actually a glass. I mean, they weren't glass, they were plastic, so it made shipping way better. I've already got feedback that they were happy with these items, and I was left with, I purchased them for $10 is what I attributed out of that sale to it, and I was left with a net return of $103.50. So pretty much we're getting 10 times more the value of what we're putting out. And I'm going to tell you, that is phenomenal. I am very happy with that. The other thing I should have brought up in here is I did mention that I do sales out off of the eBay platform in the Facebook groups and such off of the eBay platform, which means I can't get them into Flipwise unless they get manually added. And I was starting to do that when I got into some communication questions and answers and just some things that needed to get ironed out with the bookkeeper before I go further with adding them in. So as I mentioned, I'm only listing 3 items a week, or 3 items a day per day and week on eBay. I need to bump that up because just in this eBay sales alone, I had 28. So my store is really shrinking if you look at what's going on. So I'm hoping that you got some inspiration out of this, that, maybe if you're looking to get started, this gives you that inspiration to see that there is a lot of potential out there and how you can use the secondary markets to earn some extra income. I would appreciate a thumbs up if you're getting some inspiration out of this. Appreciate comments. If you got questions, by all means, put them down below. I would be happy to discuss it further with you. And I would really appreciate if you would subscribe down below and hit that subscribe button, because not only will it help me grow my channel, but any future videos I upload will show up in your feed by having subscribed to the channel. I will say bye for now. I have some special episodes coming up in the near future that will be loaded, as well as the weekly sales. So bye for now.